Now here is the Kodak PixPro FZ152. Here's some things I'm going to explain to you here. Okay, this is when the camera is actually turned on. Okay, you have your navigation keys down here, and your volume buttons are actually here and here on this camera. You actually have a mode button where you can change the settings on your camera. And let me shut this off right quick. The only problem is this camera is very basic, very simple. It's not a complicated camera. This is your record button right here, and this is your playback button. If you hit this button on here, then you hit this button in the center here, which is your navigation key. The only problem with this camera is it's got a lot of things that should have been added, and one thing I will say would be the Wi-Fi. Okay, the Wi-Fi should have been put on this camera, and it wasn't. The other things are initially here's another menu key, and it doesn't really do nothing to help you, but this right here in the center, you see where that looks like a garbage can on the navigation key, the bottom key? Well, that and this here are your up and down volume keys. And I called Kodak yesterday, and the first thing I did was I asked them, is the indicator light supposed to be showing up while this camera is charging? Now, remember what I said about the mode key? Your mode key is where you can change auto, whatever you want, and basically that's really about it. This camera has a lot of quirks because it's only a basic camera. Problems with this camera are that you can probably extend the micro SD card up to maybe 32 gigs or something like that. But the other problem is it's not Wi-Fi. It doesn't have a whole lot of features on the camera, and basically it's just it's a simple camera to use. If you want something that's going to be more to your liking, to adjust your features to certain settings on a camera, this is not the camera. Okay, for $99 you're not going to get that. So the best thing I can tell you for this camera here is, if you want some entry level for $99, you can't go too wrong, because like I said, it doesn't have a whole lot of features. It doesn't have the Wi-Fi built in on it. You have to initially charge the battery for 99, excuse me, not 99. You have to charge the battery initially for 4 hours. 4 hours straight. So here's the thing. This is where your battery goes in at right here. Okay, now, and also your memory card goes in here in this slot down at the bottom. Okay, that's where your slot is for your battery and for your memory card. So I can pop this out of here for a minute to show you how to do it with my thumb. This is where your memory card comes out of the camera. Okay, and also too, if you want to pop your battery out, you can pop your battery out. And the reason why mine camera was not charging was because the battery was in there wrong. So if you're having issues with your camera not charging, make sure that you turn the battery where the terminals are facing, where the terminals at the bottom of the camera are. The other bad part about this, as I say, this is your record button right here, that little red dot right there. And these are your navigation keys. This is your playback key when you hit the center of this here. This is a LED screen on this camera. It has a built-in flash, pop-up flash, whatever you want to call it. But the best thing to I can say about this camera, your best bet is really to look at something a little bit more expensive that has a little bit more features and settings that you can adjust on this camera. Now, my recommendation is, if you just want to have something to take some pictures and video with and play around with it, that's perfectly fine. So some of my videos are actually on YouTube. So the best thing I can recommend for you, for $99, you're getting a better camera than the Vivitar and the Polaroid cameras. What I mean by that is the Vivitar and Polaroid cameras that are less than $100, well, you get what you pay for, and that's the same thing with this camera here. That's all you're basically going to get. You're not going to get any more than what the manufacturer put into this camera. So the best thing I can tell you is make sure that you have your battery in your camera installed correctly, because if it's in there wrong, it's not going to charge up the battery. Your indicator light is not going to be showing on the side of this camera when it's charging. So you also, as I say, I have to correct myself a minute ago, you have to initially charge the battery for 4 hours straight. The initial first charge out of the box, you have to charge this camera battery for 4 hours. After 4 hours, your battery should be fully charged and this camera is ready to use. So my recommendation to you is, as I say, if you're looking for something that has a little bit more bells and whistles and something that's where you can adjust your settings to indoor, outdoor, or, you know, different quality of settings on different cameras, that's the camera you should go with. And you can go anywhere from Kodak, Polaroid, Samsung, LG, Nikon, Nokia. There's a whole lot of cameras out here. So the more expensive high-end cameras are going to have more of the features that this camera does not have. So this is my review on the Kodak PixPro FZ152.